Hey Willowbrook, my name is Jared. I'm one of the pastors at the Madison campus. Let me ask you, if you were picking your all-time greatest Bible stories, which ones would you put in there? I bet that this story that we're reading today would be one of those. Very likely. It's a story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. Yeah, you heard that story growing up as a kid. If you went to church, man, you've heard this story so many times. It's in our reading today in Daniel chapter 3, and it's so rich. The king at the time is King Nebuchadnezzar, and he's just made this statue. If you have a New American Standard Bible like I've got in front of me, it tells you the statue in a unit of measurement that you don't understand in cubits. But if you have a study Bible or you know how to interpret those measurements, you can find out that the statue is about 90 feet tall. And the law was that you could only bow down and worship that statue. Well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they weren't going to do that. They were only going to worship the one true God, and they did. And some people didn't take kindly to that. They wanted to get them in trouble. So they went to the king. I love how they always approach the king. They say, "Oh, king, live forever." Suck-ups. They went to the king and said, "Hey, there's 3 guys that aren't obeying your law." And so the king says, "Well, bring him to me." And he tells them, "I'm going to give you a chance. When I play this music, you better bow down to the statue. If not, I am throwing you into the fiery furnace." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man, their response is just golden. It's awesome. Verse 16 says it. It says that they replied to the king, "Oh, Nebuchadnezzar, we do not even need to give you an answer concerning this matter." They weren't being disrespectful. They were just saying, "Hey, we don't even have to think about this. We know what our response is." They said, "If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the fiery blazing fire, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But even if he does not, let it be known, O king, that we are not going to serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up." I love this story for so many reasons. Of course, we know how it ends. They're thrown into the fiery furnace, and they come out, not a single part of their body singed by the flames. And Nebuchadnezzar famously looks into the fire and sees a 4th man walking around in the midst of them. It says he looks like a son of the gods. I can't wait to ask God if that was an angel, if that was Jesus Christ, who that was. But I think that the telling part of this story that I want you to think about today is the faith of these 3 men, these 3 teenagers with really weird names. They say, "We know that God will deliver us, but even if he does not, let it be known, king, we will only serve our God, not yours." That's a great reminder that God often delivers us, and we know every time he is able. But sometimes it may not be his will. And so we can pray to him and say, "Yes, God, I know you can do this. I trust you. But even if this isn't your will, I still am going to serve you." Can you have that type of faith today in God? Can you remember his power, what he's capable of? I want to give you a little bonus material with a story that I just discovered a few weeks ago as I was reading this in my daily quiet time. And it's the forgetfulness of King Nebuchadnezzar with God's power. It comes to us in verse 15, where we read that Nebuchadnezzar says, "What God is there who can deliver you out of my hands?" Now, it's obvious to say that King Nebuchadnezzar didn't have faith in Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego's God in this point, but it's amazing that he did not, in the sense that this same God is one that he had already had an experience with the fact that this same God was able to give Daniel the ability to interpret and to know about the contents of a dream that he had already had. this is amazing and a great reminder to us on another level that sometimes we see God move in a big way, and we either don't give credit to God or we forget the power that we've seen previously displayed in God. Wherever you find yourself today, remember, God is able. Put your trust in Him. Even if He doesn't come through in the way that you want Him to, continue to trust Him and trust His capabilities, because He is an all-powerful God. Have a great day, Willowbrook.